Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield back at the Theatre Hall in Nottingham with one of the most loved and brilliant shows. And it stars the multi-talented, the gorgeous, can I think of anything else to say about Jenna Lee James? How are you?
Hello, Alex. How are you?
You're stunning. And I'll tell you why. You're the epitome of a leading lady, really. I mean, you're tall and you're gorgeous, but you've got this voice that is the reason that you keep getting booked show after show after show. Firstly, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Tall? I'm only 5'3".
But by normal women's standards.
I wear heels a lot.
It's always going to do the trick. And of course, in this, you're sort of this powerhouse of a performer. And they're the roles you've had in the past, really. You're not hiding behind any little role, are you?
No, but this role for me is quite different. It's very different to anything I've done before, as in shows with when I played Scaramouche, Killer Queen, Meatloaf in Rock You, which are all big, rocky singing roles, huge, big roles. And then I played narrator in Joseph, which is another big vocally singing role. This one, it's very different because the character of Mary is very kind of, she's a bit of a geek in the beginning, very twee, and then she kind of gets to let go. So she's not a rock chick at all, which is unlike Stu, which is played by Ben Heathcote. Not at all like that. But I do get to kind of rock up a little bit, but it's just more of a challenge for me, this role. And
again, like the previous roles, we have to fall in love with you. That's the point, really, isn't it?
Yes, that is the point. Yeah, and I think, the audiences, they love the show. We're getting great responses around the country. We've only got 7 weeks left now that we're in Nottingham. But they do. I mean, they fall in love with everybody. I don't think there's anybody that they kind of hate in the show. There's so many different aspects to the show. There's your comedy role with Stoner, which is played by Ricky Rojas, and his sidekick Tiffany Graves, which you probably know, who's played Baby Jane and Satan in the show. And then you've got only Ben Heathcote, as I said, and Dee Dee, who's played by Rosie Heath. Rocky, all the characters are very, very different. So they do fall in love with everybody in different ways. And there's a lot of there's the main story going on, and there's a lot of little stories going on at the same time. So there's lots of things to keep your eye out for.
And of course, it's written by Ben Elton, so we've got the same sort of script as We Will Rock You. It's sort of facetious in places, and it's sarcastic. That's kind of his thing, isn't it? It
is. It's Ben's way of writing. I mean, we know, he had great success with Rock You. And same with this. This is now the third time that this show's gone out. I think people forget that. They think it's like a new production, but this is the third time it's gone out. And it is very much Ben. It's got a load of sarcastic humour in there, real British humour in there. It is funny, but it also has its moments. It has a few truth moments as well, where everybody kind of goes, oh, and they do feel sorry for it. In fact, this afternoon we had somebody give a big sigh as I had to walk off stage at one point. So, they do feel for it as well. So it's not all comedy and humour. There's some nice tender moments in there as well.
Would you like me to do a big sigh for you tonight, just because I'm coming in short?
Yes, please. Feel sorry for me.
I know today's a two-show day, so that presumably is the reason you can't say We Will at the beginning of Rock You. You people only ever say Rock You for We Will Rock You, don't you? It's interesting.
Yeah, but it's the same as we always just called it Bo Rap instead of Bohemian Rhapsody. And in fact, in the music score, it was always just Bo Rap.
It's interesting We Will Rock You because there it was for 12 years in total. Everybody hated it when it opened, and I think I was about the only journalist that said it was amazing and that the audience would love it, and they did. And it defied all the critics staying open for that long. And you were with it for so long with so many of the legends that starred in it. It must have a big place in your heart because you took it to the arenas afterwards as well.
I did. I mean, Rock You will always have a really special place in my heart. It was my first West End show, and I couldn't believe that I was getting to work with, the icons of Brian May and Roger Taylor and Ben Elton, of course. And I think everybody who's ever done the show will say the same thing. It really will stay with you forever, because that building at the Dominion Theatre in London, as a company, it was like a family. You walked in the door and you knew everybody, and everybody knew you, even front of house staff, the people just standing there selling the ice creams. Everybody knew, everybody was important in that building. And yes, the critics did slate it, but it did do 12 years, and actually I think, as it showed on the final night, it could have gone on for longer, but the theatre has to do things and whatever else, so that won't be the end of Rock You. But it was a real special time for me, and I was lucky enough to be the only person to have played all 3 female roles.
And that is a testament to your talent, not only vocally but also as an actress, and that show demanded a lot of you. I mean, it was stupid in places, and I can understand why the pretentious critics didn't like it. There was a lot of knob gags in it, as Ben always does, but at the core it was a great story, and of course phenomenal songs that you had to knock out the park. For you doing all those major roles, did you ever wake up one day and forget which role you were actually doing?
Oh my goodness. I did in my first, what year would it be? Probably my second or third year. I did 5.5 years in London, and then I did the arena tour last year. But there was a point where I was playing the role of Meatloaf and I covered Scaramouche. And I remember Hannah Jane Fox went off, who was playing Scaramouche at the time, went off at the interval. So I had to do the second half as Scaramouche. And anybody who knows the show knows that Meatloaf's show is literally Act 1 and Scaramouche's show really is Act 2. So I had to do 2 shows in one on the set. And it was very confusing for the audience as well, because I played Meatloaf Scottish and then played Scaramouche Cockney. So, but being the same person. So it was very strange. But that was probably one of the weirdest, moments there.
And it was one of the few shows that actually had an amazing PA system and a terrific band. I mean, that's, I think, the reason that it was so good, because there was you on stage, but I mean, you'd got this rock concert behind you, which must have been thrilling, especially during those end sort of 20 minutes.
Oh my goodness. I mean, the end of Rock You was just phenomenal. When it goes into Bohemian Rhapsody or Bo Rap, Champions, or, all those kind of songs with the band behind us. And people forget there was only 9. I mean, we've only got 6 on stage here tonight, but you hear them, and our guys here, our guitarists and all the band here are just phenomenal. I mean, they really, really are. And I think that's what's great about theatre, is when you have got your live muses on stage, it's just something else. And we have a bit of a rock concert boogie at the end of this. I want to see you on your feet.
Yeah, no, I will, I promise. I just 3 weeks ago was in Vegas and I saw Rod Stewart, and to see him, I think he's 69 right now and he's about to turn 70. I think he's in Blackpool this weekend. I looked at that billboard at the Coliseum and there's Elton and there's Rod and there's Celine, and I can't imagine Justin Bieber the musical that won't last any longer than I Can't Sing.
No comment. I have to say, I saw I Can't Sing and I actually really loved it.
Did you really?
I saw it on the last night, so maybe I always judge him from a different point of view. I don't know. It was, anyway.
Do you know what I thought that was? And let's just talk, because shows come and go. For me, it was just very arrogant to put it into the Palladium. If it had been in a smaller theatre, it was a smaller show. It wasn't a Palladium show. And there was an arrogance that killed it. And it's such a shame, because, again, you guys are only as good as your material and the show you're in. And there was some amazing talent in there, but it was just too big a theatre. And to fill those kind of numbers, it almost destroyed itself.
Yeah, I agree. I think the theatre was way too big. Had they gone to smaller theatre, it would still be running now. Absolutely, it would still be.
And again, as I joked at the time, people will watch crap for nothing, but they won't necessarily pay £65 to watch crap. And I'm not saying it was crap in places it was, but that's sort of the joy and the devastation of the West End. If you're not doing the business, you're going to be kicked out. And to bring that back to you, it must be amazing to be you to still be in work, because you'll be found out within a heartbeat if you're no good. So for you to keep getting rehired and booked must be a great compliment.
It is. I'm waiting for somebody to find me out. I'm waiting for that. But no, I mean, gosh, the West End is changing dramatically. There's more tours going out because people don't have the money to travel, to the West End in London anymore. So it's great that we can take shows on the road and you can come to some great theatres in the country and perform here, and we get, busy audiences and packed houses. So that is a good thing. But the West End is, I'm sure you agree, is completely changing from what it was, even 3 years ago, 5 years ago. It's now a different place. A lot of those big shows are just disappearing because we don't have the tourist industry is completely different as well now. We don't have that anymore. So
does that help you as a star leading lady, or is that a problem? I mean, are you happy to be on the road? Here we are today in Nottingham. Next week you'll probably be in Llandudno or somewhere crazy. These tours take you everywhere. Is that nice for you, or would you rather be settled in one theatre? Me personally, I would rather be settled in one theatre. But in saying that, I've had a great time on the tour and I've seen some great cities. Last week we were in Glasgow for 2 weeks, so I stayed with my parents, which was really nice. And it's, we get to some nice places, so it is nice. It's just when you're on the road and then you go again, I've got to go to another restaurant for dinner, and, you're staying in another different bed and you're like, I just want to get home and be in home comforts. When you've got family at home, my partner who you know is just about to go on tour with Shrek. So I get home and he disappears around the country. Is there no way we can get you the role as Princess Fiona or something? I mean, there's got to be something. Maybe you could be one of the gingerbread men, maybe. Oh, I couldn't work with him. No, that's a joke. I would love to. I'd love to be on the road with him. But no, it's actually quite nice that I'm going to have a little break and he's
going to go off on the road.
Let him earn some money. I keep saying this to you. You know, the thing about it is, let him be the star for a while. You stay at home with the dog and just be happy.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
And you can visit him once a week, bring the dog up, and then clear off again.
That's perfect life. That's what I'm going to do.
And of course, you were in the Coronation Street show as well, which was another one of those theatrical disasters that, again, you have to blame the arrogance of producers. Again, at the time, and I said it, it didn't make me very popular, but I just feel sorry for you guys. You're so vulnerable, aren't you? When you commit to a show like this, and there was a story last week, I think it was Jesus Christ Superstar, that they'd rehearsed right until the day before it went out, and then they cancelled. Boom, they're all out of work. It's tough being you. There must be a lot of pressures outside of just being able to do the show.
I think it is, and with the industry, and as we've spoken about the West End's changing, there's a lot of contracts now, especially with arena tours, which is what the Coronation Street musical was, Street of Dreams. With arena tours, they're not necessarily equity contracts, because equity as our union doesn't really cover arena tours. It's just part of what it is. But there are more shows going out as arenas. So unfortunately, Jesus Christ Superstar was the same. And I had a lot of friends in that who, suddenly have no work. And when you've planned for months ahead and suddenly there's nothing, it's not as easy just to go and pick up a job. And especially when you're playing leads, there's not many roles out there, so you kind of have to grab them when you can. And unfortunately, that is our business. That's what we have to put up with.
The last time I saw you was in this theatre doing pantomime at Christmas, and again, you knocked it out of the park. You were here with Pasquale and all those people, and you were so incredible. The thing that amazes me about this job, and I think it's nearly 20 years I've been interviewing people like you now, is that there's so many amazing people who aren't working. Do you pinch yourself every day? And I always ask this question, is it amazing to be you, that you're so popular and you're in consistent work? Because even if you're amazing, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to earn a living, does it?
I wish I could say I was in consistent work. I do. I do a lot of things outside theatre, so I guess that kind of helps. I do a lot of concerts, and I travel quite a bit to Australia and America and different places. So I'm lucky, touch wood, in that department. But there's so many people at the moment out of work, so many amazing, talented people, and it's just a matter of, it's just waiting on jobs coming in, and whether you're right. And people are put into categories and into brackets of, they're just a rock performer, and it's very hard to kind of break over. It's the same wall as breaking from TV into musical theatre, or musical theatre into TV. It's just impossible to do. It takes a lot of time. Unfortunately, things are different. They are a lot different, and you've just got to keep at it and keep ploughing at it, and don't give up. I think that's the only thing,
Jenna, lovely to see you. Thank you for talking to us eventually. I don't know how we've managed to avoid each other this long, but congratulations on everything. Come and see the show. Where are you next?
We're going to Bristol next. We're there for 2 weeks in Bristol, and then we're in Oxford, Norwich, Woking and Canterbury.
Congratulations. That was your biggest test of the interview, and you passed it with flying colours. Congratulations. Where's the dog, by the way? I was hoping to meet.
Doggy's not allowed in Nottingham, so Doggy is at home with Daddy at the moment, with Shrek.
Hey, listen, great to talk to you, Jenna Lee James.
Great to talk to you. Thanks, Alex.